Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to another video. This is going to be another one of my novel writing vlogs. I recently finished draft 1 of my novel Project Mayfair, and now I am working on draft 2, editing and making changes. One thing that I've said over and over again in previous vlogs is that to me, having the manuscript read aloud is really helpful. So as I've been editing, I've been using the read aloud feature in Microsoft Word to just have this automated voice read what I wrote back to me. And that I really enjoy doing. So I have actually reread almost every chapter of my book. I got up to the big climax where our main characters have figured out who the killer is, and it's that dramatic villain confrontation. So I'm really almost at the end. However, I'm kind of feeling like the confrontation is maybe at times a bit melodramatic. So that's something I definitely want to edit more. I'm not gonna edit that today because right now I'm just not in the headspace to handle that right now. So I've kind of just made a note of that, like edit this scene for melodrama, and then when I'm more so in the mood to handle that, I will go back and fix that scene. So there is one thing that I am ready to start working on. By the time you're watching this, I will have put out a video on crutch words. I learned this recently, and honestly, it blew my mind. I was not exaggerating in the video title when I said that this blew my mind or changed the game or whatever phrase I used. That was not an exaggeration. This literally has made a world of difference to me. So basically, crutch words are the phrases that a writer uses over and over again in their story without meaning to. And you can go watch that full video if you want to hear my hack, but I have identified some of my crutch words and certain words or phrases that I have used many times without realizing it. So I am going to use the find and replace feature in Microsoft Word to get some of these crutch words down to a more manageable number. I did not realize how many times I described characters as smiling, either out of genuine happiness or, a nervous smile, a sad smile, just so much smiling for so many different reasons. I didn't realize that I did this so often until I used this online tool and saw that I used the word smile over 200 times. So I'm definitely gonna edit a lot of those out. It also is kind of funny. So last night I finished reading 3 Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake, which was the book that my subscribers picked for me to read on my February TBR. And since I had this thing about smiling in mind, I was noticing it in a way I think I wouldn't have before. While I was reading 3 Dark Crowns, there was one chapter where Kendara Blake referred to characters as smiling 3 times in 5 pages. And I think had I not just learned this thing about crutch words and realized how often I use the word smile, I probably would not have thought anything of this, but because it was on my mind, I was reading this book and I was like, oh my God, she says smile so much. I think it's just something that you don't realize you're doing, but then once you notice it, you can't unsee it, Sorry if the camera angle has drastically changed. I film on my phone, and while I was filming that last clip, I got a phone call, so had to answer the phone. But I will show you the list I made of the words and phrases I think I use too much. So I will tell on myself and show you the things that I've been repeating. And then we'll talk a little bit about my plan going ahead to fix those and think of some more creative phrasing. Right now, I'm on the clock, so gotta go. Talk to you later. Hello. So, it's the next day, and let's talk about how draft 2 is going. I still have to reread the final chapter and see if I want to change anything there, but I copied and pasted the entire thing into my draft 2 document. And as of right now, I said I wanted to cut maybe 2,000-ish words off draft 1. Draft 1 was 92,200 words-ish. I think I might have fixed a couple typos or things like that while I was working on draft 2. So maybe that was not the exact word count, but close enough. Draft 2 is 92,077 words. So I basically cut nothing off. Yeah, so that's the equivalent of 368 novel length pages, which is not bad considering this is a historical mystery, but I still would like to get it a little bit shorter, maybe like 360 pages. Closer to 350 would probably be better, but you know, we don't want to cut too much if it's going to impact the quality of the story. I also realized while I was working on draft 2, I had forgotten about the scene that I didn't finish. So I was feeling really great when I started working on draft 2. It's like, look at me, I shaved so many words off. And then I got to that part and I was like, oh shit. This scene's not done, so I'm going to have to write several hundred words here. So that was a problem that past me saved for present me. But it's fine, it's fine. I mean, the word count is not the most important thing, and I am gonna work on eliminating some of these crutch words and just unnecessary words, phrases, or even unnecessary paragraphs. So in the process of doing that, I will take some more off, and we're just gonna see how it goes. Really, the quality of the draft is the most important thing. Because, like, okay, 368 pages is slightly long, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. So, like, I'm going to try not to agonize over it, too much, you know? So these are the words and phrases that I identified as appearing many times in the manuscript. I included all phrases that appeared 5 or more times, and then with the word counter, I was more so just writing down things that, in my personal opinion, sounded like a lot. There wasn't a specific threshold, just things that I noticed and wanted to look at further. So you can pause it. Wow, why did I say pause so weird? You can pause, obviously, if you want to read everything that I wrote. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you, but these are just things I identified, and as you can see, once I make some changes, I'm just writing down the new number of times that word or phrase appears in the manuscript. I mentioned specifically in my crutch words video that I wrote this sentence where my hero was swallowing, and I described it as his Adam's apple bobbing up and down in his throat, which I thought was really clever. I accidentally used it 5 times. Now it's just once. I also mentioned there was a lot of eyebrow descriptions, so I'm going to work on that. And there was also, where is it? Smile, 202 times. And like I said, I think this is an okay thing to use, but 200 is a lot for one book, so I'm gonna look at that a little closer. And yeah, so these are all the things I'm going to pay attention to in this editing process. Another thing, now that I have noticed how much I use the word smile, I am so hyper aware of it now. I was reading another book last night and I realized that the author described a character or characters as smiling 3 times in as many pages. Like, this is something that I never would have noticed before, but now I see it. Like, it's just, once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. And listen, it's okay to use the word smile a lot, because I think that's really just one of the most basic body language descriptors. I mean, I smile many times every day, and it's something that a character can do when they're happy. They can smile through their tears. They can fake a smile when they want to seem happy when they're not. Like, you can use this description in so many different ways, so I think it's fine. But, you know, if you say it 3 times in 3 pages, maybe you should cut one of those. So yeah, it's something I didn't realize I was doing, and now I'm seeing it everywhere. All the smiling. So eventually I'm gonna have to rewrite parts of the villain confrontation scene. I don't really want to bother with that at this moment in time. So I think I'm gonna start using the search feature on Word to look up a lot of these often used words or phrases and just look at them with a little bit more of a critical eye. Obviously, I'm not gonna cut every mention of a character smiling, but if, for instance, I say someone smiles on page 56, and then on 57 they do it again, I might cut one. Things like that. So just gonna start working on this until I feel like I've gotten these words down to a more reasonable number.
Hello, so updates. The editing process is going well. I am mostly doing well, but to be honest, yesterday was a very rough day. Something happened at work that made my life much more difficult. It was not anything to do with me personally, it was just a situation out of my control. My headspace has not been great, but working on editing the novel has helped me feel a little more positive. And I'm just gonna try to keep a good attitude, even though my life has become potentially more complicated. Anyways, just wanted to, I'm not trying to like be vague or anything. I'm just being honest and saying like yesterday was not a great day for me, but I'm powering through it, you know? So after the edits I have been doing, my draft is currently sitting at 91,372 words, which is good. We're heading in the right direction. And honestly, I really have not cut anything major. I've just deleted a lot of redundant words or phrases. For example, last night, I deleted so many instances of the word now. So for instance, I could write a sentence that says, Jackie was now updating her vlog to let them know how writing was going. But the word now does not change the meaning of the sentence in any way. So you can just delete it. I was doing things like that, not making large edits, just going through my document, looking at certain words, and being honest with myself that it didn't need to be there. And I made my way through most of the things on my Crutch words and commonly used phrases list. And, you know, to be honest, so we talked about smiling. I use the word smile a lot. Originally, I used the word smile 202 times, and now I currently have it at 139. That is still a lot of instances of that word. However, there's nothing wrong with describing people as smiling. It's a good body language descriptor. So what I was doing was not deleting all the instances of this word. I was just going through the entire document and thinking, is this instance really necessary? Do I like what it's adding to the story? And also there were several instances where, without realizing it, I had used that word multiple times on one page or in like several pages back to back. And that was a case where if I use it twice on one page or twice in 2 pages, I told myself, listen, Jackie, you gotta delete one. So it's not like I was getting rid of that word entirely. I was just being more mindful about how I use it. And there were also several pages where I left comments for myself because I wasn't sure how I wanted to edit a specific word or phrase yet. And so I just left that for future me to go back and look at later. So I will show you a shot of my word and phrase counter that I've been working on if you would like. I also thought maybe I could show you how I've been using the find and replace feature on Microsoft Word to work on these edits. So I go to the top and I hit list matches in a sidebar, and then I can type in whatever word I want. I'm going to do frown, because I used that word 59 times. Now, I have already got it down to 51, so go me. And now I can just go through this entire list to be like, is this really necessary? And then get it down to a different number. I would recommend going through one by one if possible, because if you just do a blanket replace and replace all, that would be a little weird. It would be weird if you never said frown in the entire manuscript, but also, like, do you want to say it twice on one page? Probably not. So I've also been looking at the page numbers. So here I say it on page 28, and then I say it again on page 46. So almost 20 pages have gone by. I think it's okay to repeat that word again. If I said it on page 28 and 29, then I would probably get rid of one. So one thing I forgot to mention is that there is a way to ensure you're only seeing the exact word in your search. Like, for instance, right now I am looking up chest, and I'm also getting things like chestnut, which is not the same word. So what you do is you go here to a little gear and click whole word only. And now it says 33 instead of 36. So I wanted to mention that, and I totally forgot. It also says sounds like and all word forms. I have not tried those. I don't know what sounds like would include. So sounds like chest? Okay, that changed nothing. So I guess I'm still not sure what it does. So this is mainly what I've been doing with all of my crutch words and commonly used phrases. And after I go through the entire list, I am then going to make some smaller edits to scenes and also, like I said, rewrite portions of the villain confrontation scene at the end of the novel. So here are all my phrases. I have gone through this entire list, and you can obviously pause if I'm going too fast and you want to read it more closely. And again, this is not getting down these phrases to the lowest number possible. It's just going through and interrogating, like, why did I use this phrase? Is this phrase necessary here? Is there a way I could say the same idea in a different way just to make it more original? That's really the idea. And then here is my word list, which is still in progress. And again, words like smile, heart, things that are more common words, it's okay if I use those words a lot because they're common words. But I'm going through and thinking about why I used them, if they're necessary, how I could say the same thing in a more original way. Like, for example, I still have over 200 instances of the word face. But I did cut some because I thought they weren't necessary, were too wordy, or I'd already used that word in the same paragraph. Also, you know, things like face or heart, where is it? Here. Sometimes I used those words with different meanings. Sometimes I said face referring to a physical face, a person's face. Other times I said things like the two of them faced each other, which means a different thing. And sometimes I described, you know, the heroine's heart skipped a beat. And other times I said something like, she took his words to heart. Again, it's the same word, but it's being used in a different context. So that was another thing I kept in mind. Hello all. So there were other things I originally intended to talk about in this vlog. However, it's already like 20 minutes long, so I think I'm just gonna wrap up this video and then start filming another writing vlog to post in a couple of weeks. First thing I want to say, I went back today and started rereading some of my earlier chapters now that I've been editing a lot of these words out, and I'm really happy with how they sound. I was reading them and I felt like they flowed. I was happy with the balance of dialogue and description. I'm happy with how everything looks at the moment, so fingers crossed. I feel good about the changes I've made. Secondly, in my last writing vlog, I did ask if any of you had any questions for me about writing or my book. And I did get a comment from Sophie asking if I would do a write with me video, either a live stream or just a pre-recorded, not really ASMR, but a pre-recorded video of me writing that you can watch and write along with. And my answer to that is, I would do it if I thought people were interested. So if you would like to see a write with me video or live stream, do comment down below and let me know that's something you want. I might also post a poll on my community tab to just see who would be interested in that sort of thing. And also, if we decide to do a live stream, I need to figure out what would be a good date and time for people. And also figure out how to live stream on YouTube, because I've never done that before. I've never hosted a live stream because, I mean, I don't want this to sound like self-deprecating, but like I don't really know would people actually be interested in me doing a live stream. Like, do people actually want to virtually hang out with me? I don't know. I mean, I don't think of myself as a big YouTuber. I don't have many subscribers. So my fear was always if I did a live stream or something, nobody would tune in. So anyways, this is now just starting to sound kind of sad, but that's something I would do if people wanted to see it. So if you want to see it, do let me know and we can sort out the details. So that is it for this novel writing vlog. Like I said, I will start filming another one this week, and that will go up a couple weeks after this one, I guess. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you in the next video.